Hi, everybody. This is Michelle Tennant Nicholson, and this is friendsofeastflatrock.org, our YouTube channel. And we're doing an educational series on different people in the community who can educate us on the aspect of rezoning a parcel of land to allow for an asphalt plant in an area that's zoned residential, office, commercial, not industrial manufacturing. And I am really pleased to have Missy Schenck with me today. Everybody say hi, Missy.
Hi, everyone.
So Missy wrote a very eloquent letter from the Western North Carolina Camp Association. So she represents a lot of camps, and we're just going to speak to her a little bit about how the camps and feel about this rezoning application, and then also the future of Western North Carolina and its relationship to families and sending their children to camps each summer. So thanks so much, Missy, for spending some time with me today.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for allowing us to be a part of this too, because the building of an asphalt plant could really impact the summer camp industry in Western North Carolina. A lot of people don't realize that there are over 70 summer camps in Western North Carolina. We are the largest concentration of summer camps in the United States.
The largest in the United States.
And
nice.
Yeah, and there are about 20 of those camps right in Henderson County, 12 of them right in direct impact of where the asphalt plant would be built. And so one of the things we have done over the years is in 2010, the Camp Association did an economic impact study, and we did another one in 2019. And the results from the 2019 one haven't been published, but I can share with you from the 2010 one how much the camp industry means to Henderson County.
Oh yeah, well, one of the things that's most important to people is the whole prospect of jobs. You know, they're like, let the asphalt plant in because it's going to create all these jobs. Well, at first it was going to be 3 to 6 jobs, and then the number changed to 20. And I know that their neighboring businesses like Paramount Produce, who's also in this YouTube channel series, they have a concern that they'll lose their business because of the asphalt plant, because who wants to buy mushrooms and tomatoes right when there's particulates and asphalt smell in the air. So this is I have heard from some naysayers, Missy, so I want you to actually address. I've actually heard from some other beekeepers that I'm an idiot for thinking that the Green River is even an equation here, or that the environmental equation is even to be considered here. So, and when I bring up camps, they say they're too far away. So just so everybody knows the area that we're talking about, it is a 1.2 miles from Hillendale. It is within 2 miles of Carl Sandburg. I'm 1,100 feet across the street, and right kitty corner right here by Orr's Family Restaurant. So that's where we're talking about in Henderson County. So Missy, enlighten us, please. I would love to be able to communicate with some of these naysayers in a better way.
So in the economic impact study in Henderson County alone, we employ in the summer camps there about 3,500 full-time people. That's 3,500. And in Western North Carolina, over 10,000 people. Wow. And so right alone in the Western North Carolina area, the summer camps contribute $365 million to the economy, and in Henderson County, $120 million. So that's a tax revenue of $10 million right into Henderson County. So this summer has probably given Henderson County a taste of what it's like to not have camp revenue, because of the summer camps in Western North Carolina, only 9 to 12 operated this summer. And some of them operated only for family retreat weekends, and only about 6 operated with regular camp seasons. So they're going to have felt what it's like to not have that revenue this summer. And I can imagine they don't want to have that happen again, and neither do the camps. And risk management and safety are the highest priority any camp director is going to have. The safety of their camp families and their campers that are coming to camp are what build the relationship and the trust that we have in them allowing us to have their children for the summer. You know, not only would our economy be impacted by it, but the economy of the whole Henderson County. And what few people don't realize is that the little camp industry that they think is a sleepy little industry in Western North Carolina is one of the top industries in our area. And to be able to say that we have the largest number of summer camps in the United States in West North Carolina is pretty phenomenal. It would be a sad day if the summer camps didn't, weren't able to exist anymore. Some of them are over 100 years old.
Wow, the history, right, of all the, and I am hearing from men and women who did go to camp here and how they're very frightened of this area having an asphalt plant in it. I want to just talk a little bit about the jobs that you talked about, because I know you said you had a delineation of full-time and part-time. One of the things I hadn't thought about until just recently, I was having another interview with somebody, and they were enlightening me on, asphalt plants, the numbers, the hours that we're getting of operation are contingent upon the weather, right? So when it's hotter or cooler, they'll operate when it's cooler. So asphalt plants in some of the other areas will actually operate in the evenings. The other thing I want to talk about is, like, when we talk about jobs, I think it's also important is, are they part-time jobs? Are they full-time jobs with benefits? And for certain, these asphalt plant jobs are typically very seasonal, just as construction work would be. So there's going to be some that are going to be completely full-time with benefits, but for the majority, my understanding is that they're seasonal. I think that one would also say, well, the camps are seasonal too. So can you shed some light on, like, when we talk about jobs, what kind, like the quality of jobs, like, so let's talk about that a little bit.
So the big thing everybody always asks a camp director when summer camp's over, oh, wow, your season's over, you can relax. And actually the hardest time of the year for a camp director in any summer camp is from September to May. We work harder in those months than we do in the summer, because everything we do for the summer has to be done in those 9 months to get ready. From the minute the gate opens, we go. And so in the off season, you have to hire a whole staff. Typically, like our small camp, Green River Preserve, hires 70 to 100 people that are seasonal people. But we have, 8 full-time employees. Most summer camps, so the numbers I gave you for Henderson County is that there are 3,500 full-time employees in summer camps year-round. And so most of the summer camps send out teams to do marketing all over. You have to bring campers in. You can't have camp without campers. So you travel all over the place to be able to recruit campers. You also have to go to college and university campuses to recruit staff. And so it's very much a year-round job. There's no break. There's not a let up at any time. So it's not a seasonal industry as far as that. And then you might be a camp like us. We run school programs. So we have shoulder seasons. We have a 10-week season in the fall and the 10-week one in the spring. And, for us this year, we've been closed for all 3 seasons, which is hard.
It is hard. This is a very challenging time. I just want to insert at this point, if any commissioner is watching, it's a cruel thing to put a community through to rezone in the middle of a pandemic. And here we are. And I know everybody has their opinions about that. But here we are. We have to do this because the application has been set forth. So what about the people who say, by the way, if you're hearing the cough, that's my mother. My mother's 84. She lives with me. And so you're like, who's that? Who's that coughing? That's my 84-year-old mother in the room watching streaming Elvis movies. Okay. So don't mind her. What about people who just go, oh, come on, Missy. If an asphalt plant goes in there at that, it's already, exit 7. It's already got traffic there. You're mistaken if that's going to close your camp. What do you say to those people?
So it's more about the environmental pollutants that are going to come out of the camp, because they travel. And they're going to travel wide and far. They're going to travel through the Green River. There's a creek bed right there next to the asphalt plant. And the Green River is used by every single camp in Western North Carolina to do trip programs, and whether it's for the day or multiple days. It's also a high intense area for, national kayaking. And the other thing is it's going to travel in the air. It's not, I mean, you have to realize that location is one thing, but the environmental pollutants are another.
Let me just insert right here. Jeff Shipman has been on the radio this week saying that that is not the case. It's a state-of-the-art facility. We will not smell it. He's not allowed by law to even go beyond the perimeter of the land with the particulates from the asphalt plant, and that should just not be a concern. You won't even see it. What do you say to that, Missy?
So I hear him loud and clear, but what he's not able to do is give us a guarantee that the asphalt plant and the use of the plant will not be detrimental to the public welfare or to our camps. He can't put in writing a guarantee to us of any single sort. And, you know, if he were to go ahead and open the camp, yeah, he can have all that monitoring and do all that he wants and follow all the different laws that he's supposed to, but he can't guarantee anything is going to happen as far as the environmental pollutants being damaging to everything in the close proximity of the plant. And I feel like one of the things we promise our parents who entrust us with their children is their safety, like I said earlier. And you know, if I can't give our parents a guarantee that their children aren't going to be harmed by the pollutants from this plant, you know, it's just not a deal. I mean, I feel like he's got to be able to sign on the dotted line and say, I promise, I guarantee, because right away we've got grounds to be able to come back at him if he can't hold to his guarantee on that. And
well, and that's what I think the commissioners in the planning department would say, that in a conditional rezoning situation, that we can set forth the requirements that we want as a community. It's going to be very hard to hold them to it, as we've heard in John Mason's. You know, he's currently living next door to an asphalt plant. He's been trying to call them about the pollutants that he smells that's affecting his cattle, that's affecting his chickens. And, you know, in COVID time, they're not even coming right now. So, you know, once the plant is in, from my research, from talking directly to people who live next door to an asphalt plant, there's little help for the citizens. And as we've heard directly from our commissioners, we need to contact Raleigh for environmental issues, that the only thing that they're going to deal with as commissioners is the land use application. We'll see how that rolls out as time passes. Missy, tell us a little bit. I know that you, before our interview, you were telling me a little bit about a bog in the area, and we will get the Nature Conservancy and some other people, maybe even some historic Flat Rock, some of the other people who are speaking out against the asphalt plant. But just give us a glimpse into what you were telling me about that bog. It's kind of, I can just see you now taking a group of children to kind of investigate the Arrowwood plant, you know?
So there's a pretty significant bog in East Flat Rock. At one time, all of East Flat Rock was pretty much bog land, and now a lot of it's fill land. A huge portion of what remains of the bog is adjacent to the GE plant, and that bog is protected by the Nature Conservancy. And the bog continues on down to a half a mile of the plant site, or proposed plant site. In this bog is an endangered plant called bunched arrowroot, and it's a plant that only exists in 2 places in the world. So, I mean, that's not just the United States or our state, this is the world. And so if that plant were destroyed by some of the environmental pollutants from the asphalt plant, then it would only exist in 1 place in the world. And wouldn't that be a sad day? And, you know, I think that all of us, regardless of where we live, need to help. Protect this. It's a national cultural heritage site, and anybody can Google it. I mean, that's how I found out about it. I found it on Google when I was Googling East Flat Rock bogs, and it came up right away as a national cultural heritage site. And it, you know, so it's documented and it's in place, and we all need to protect that. It's part of our heritage in that area.
It is, and you know, one of the outcomes, the great outcomes of all of this is that the 10,000 neighbors have united, and we are really learning a lot about, even more than we ever wanted to know, about our backyards. And as I understand it, my backyard is the headwaters to Laurel Creek that feeds the Green River. And also that bog is like right off that headwaters. So I didn't even know about these international treasures were right in my backyard. And I'm happy to be the one to help protect them. And I know that 10,000 other people are as well. What would you like to, if you had the commissioners right here and you wanted to speak to them, and what would you ask them? I mean, also, hold on, Missy, also about the future of Henderson County in terms of camps too. Go ahead.
Well, that's a lot right there. So, I feel like because the camp industry is a significant industry in Henderson County, that we need to protect it. And that as commissioners, it's their job to help us protect them. That's why we elected them. And we're too big of an industry, much bigger than the asphalt plant, to just ignore. And we bring an enormous amount of revenue to this county.
Yeah, you said, how much was the revenue you said? You said 10 million in tax revenue.
Yeah, but in overall, just, for Western North Carolina, it's 33 million, but the income is 120 million just to Henderson County. And a lot of that's, of course, hotels, restaurants, just everything. I mean, there are, so many parents that are going to come and bring their children to camp and they stay in Hendersonville. It's just too big of an impact. And we all need to, the tourism commission, along with the camps, all need to pull together just to look at the commissioners and say, you need to protect us. We've elected you for this reason.
Thank you. Yeah, we didn't say no to rezoning East Flat Rock for this asphalt plant, please. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to say to everybody?
I think I'm good. I really appreciate, Michelle, you letting me have a chance to speak on behalf of the camps.
Yeah,
I've been watching this since the get-go. I think from the first day you started posting things, and you have surely given an arm and a leg and more to it. So thank you for all of your energy.
And ditto. And thank you for that acknowledgement. And I want you to know that all I ever wanted was that we would have a say. When I learned about this June 1st, and then I called a friend who does federal, like this is what she does at a federal level. She's like, you have to organize like right now, and you need to start fundraising and go find a lawyer right now. And so I got scared, when she did all that. And so I immediately got into action, and then I realized yesterday or the day before, I was like, what am I really grateful for? I'm really grateful for that we have a voice, because Missy, by law, we wouldn't even know about this yet.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
Just soak that in, right? Somebody opened their mouth first, and then my neighbor Susan heard it, and I got irritated enough to then call the press. That's all that happened, right? And now we're all talking about it. And Jeff Shipman says he's surprised at the feedback, he's just like, oh my gosh, right? Yeah, well, this is our homes. We've been here. We're investing here. This is our forever home. We moved here for a reason, And I think that everybody is fearful and upset, and I'm hoping it goes our way. And I don't wish Jeff also is entitled to his voice and making a request, and we have a process in place. So I do trust our process, and I think it needs to be tweaked, because for sure a neighbor 1,100 feet from a rezoning needs to be alerted quicker than the final process. We wouldn't, as I understand it, the press wouldn't have even been notified till August. But see, this is the delayed meeting from the July meeting, right? This August meeting was supposed to be in July or June. So we're actually, when I was originally called, we wouldn't be told, the public at large beyond the 400 feet perimeter wouldn't have been notified until the fall, late August, September. Yes, which is what happened to Grimesdale, see? So Grimesdale couldn't organize as quickly, even though they had 600 people show up at their public commentary meeting. they weren't able to organize as quickly, because as the law for rezoning is written, only neighbors within 400 feet. So that's what I'm really grateful that we're even having a conversation, because we're not supposed to be having a conversation about this.
That is so scary. And you're right, our system does need to change, because
Yeah.
it's just not fair. And that's exactly. So I know I wrote an email to you. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law lived in Pinola, and now they live in Zimbabwe. So they're from one hot spot to another. But anyway, and he sent an email to my husband and said, "I've been reading online about the asphalt plant. Y'all have to make sure that doesn't happen. It ruined Pinola." And that's up there where the headwaters of the Linville River are. And so I didn't really know much about that. So I Googled it just to read about it. And that just was more confirming to me that, okay, we have got to stop this. And
yeah, there are appropriate places for asphalt plants, right? And most people believe it's an industrial park, gravel pits and things of that nature. I do want to give a shout out to some of our press, because we wouldn't be here without our press. And lately I've seen a lot of anger toward our press in our Facebook page group. And I'm a publicist, and I want you to know that press are often underpaid and overworked and underthanked. So let's take a moment to acknowledge them. Okay, so when we're talking about, so first of all, most of our press have done a good job about getting the word out. If you want to see all of our media coverage, go to friendsofeastflatrock.org and click on media coverage. And every WLOS, Hendersonville Lightning, they've all done a great job of being our partners, okay? Also WTZQ and WHKP, so quit bad-mouthing them, okay? They're in the business of selling ink and airtime, is what we say. So if you're mad about what they're advertising, then go back to the person who's advertising. So, but down here, I want you to show, which one? This one. This is really unprecedented, and I don't think that people are really paying attention to how important this was from the Hendersonville Times News. So this was an op-ed from the editor, Jennifer Heaslip, and what she was saying is East Flack residents organizing a fight to fight a proposed asphalt plant say Henderson County should do more to notify neighbors of plans for polluting industries. They're right. This is, in my 30-year career, to have an editorial like this so early on, unprecedented. And I was a little disheartened to see them waylaid by our people about a recent front page news story. I know it was upsetting to see the asphalt plant get a front page story. I get that. And the other thing is that they've also given us a lot. And so I just wanted to say that, because I think that after this is all done, Missy, is that, I'm a change agent, and I'm just like, I'm really going to investigate, like, how do you change that on the books? 400 feet? It's nothing.
Yeah, that's right there. And it's more than next door.
I know. So that's the next conversation. Just like after Grimesdale, people couldn't believe that an asphalt plant would move into Grimesdale like it did. And in fact, John Mason, whose family owned the original property, had put in their paperwork when they sold the property that it would never become an asphalt plant. That was one of the conditions of them selling the original farmland. And so somehow that got changed. And don't have that story. If you know that story, you should call me, because we should really get that on record too. But that's really interesting, and so after that happened, I'm told, I moved here in 2002, so that was right before I moved here. That's why we have the zoning in place that protects us today, is because after Grimesdale happened, the commissioners and the planning department and the city, the Henderson County at large, passed countywide zoning laws, which is very contested, right, in a rural area. Don't you tell me what to do with my land, Missy, right? That's the argument about zoning. I know, I've sat in a lot of those meetings in Saluda. So people have strong opinions about zoning, I know. So, but that's the only thing that's really protecting us right now, is something that everybody can remember. So, I so thank you for your time today.
Well,
It's
thank
a
you
beautiful
so
day.
much for letting me share with you. And I will get in touch with Victoria and, try and put you all together somehow for historic.
Yeah, I would love to get Victoria to talk about, from the historic, the village of, the historical nature of Flat Rock and why it's important, right? And then also from Adam, maybe at the Nature Conservancy, he's our bog expert. I'd like to maybe get a little more information from him about that.
Okay,
So, okay,
great. All right.
bye,
Well,
everybody.
have a nice weekend.
You too.